review of architectures overview of DSP TMS 320C 6X DSP processor. And we know that I already told you regarding after that 6, if there is a word will be get comes, we can say 1, 3, 5, 7. If that after that 6 immediately the next digit comes as a odd digits, then we can recognize it is an what type of DSP processor it is. It is floating point. Is that clear? If
Yes, sir.
after immediately after 6, if you observe the digits comes as a even one, like 2, 4, 6, 8. What type of DSP processor, Texas DSP processor it is? It is floating point DSP processor. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is a very important aspect as far as your lab is get concerned. You have to perform one two experiment based upon DSP processor, that is 6748, and examiner definitely asks the question based upon this. How you are going to get distinguish your fixed point DSP processor as well as floating point DSP processor. At that time, you should be able to give the answer like this. Okay. So by reading the complete numbers of that particular DSP processor, you can easily identify what type of processor you have to you're supposed to work on it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then in previous Zoom discussions, we discussed regarding data regarding TMS 320C6X. So it's offered what type of architectures? VLIW architecture processor. What is meant by VLIW? It is a extended parallelism. What is the purpose of this VLI extended parallelism, which are incorporated into your DSP processor to improve the performance, to increase the throughput and reduce the latency. Okay,
Yes, sir.
correct. Then another, we know there is a vast family of this 32C C6 series. They are to be get classified as a fixed and floating point. So as a theories get concerned, we have study of both. Okay, C2X as well as 67X particularly. So it's consists of whether it is a fixed point or maybe 62 or 67. It consists of multiple execution units running in parallel, and those are performing what we say uh, those are performing multiple instruction during a single clock cycle, and it is based upon velocity architectures. So what are the objective of this velocity architectures? What you can achieve by incorporating velocity architectures? It includes or it reduces code size, conditional execution, flexible data types, and fully pipeline branches has been offered with the help of velocity architectures. Particularly, is that clear? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we also discuss regarding features. Okay. So main feature is that it consists of 8 functional unit and there are 32 general purpose registers of 32-bit word line. 8 functional unit consist of total however it is get divided over there. It is 2 multiplier block and 6 ALU blocks. Okay. And ALUs can perform 40-bit arithmetic operations. Means those you have to get working on 32-bit operand, but still it will be get supporting 40 bits operand particular. You can process or 40 bits of data you can process with the help of this processor. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Still people are coming.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, Then in previous Zoom discussions, we discussed regarding internal architectures and this word architecture schematic of your TMS 320C 62X particularly. Okay, so its offer VLIW architecture is fetches 8 32-bit instruction every single cycle. So word length size is 8 multiplied by 32. What are there? 256, na? Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
256 of word lengths. So data by observing these upper two blocks of these architectures views of your TMS 32062X, that program memory and data memory, program RAM or data RAM has differ in terms of only data size. So in program RAM is a 256 bit of data, but in some data RAM, data will be get variable, means it can process either 8 bit, 16 bit or 32 bits particularly. So variable data RAMs are available, but there is a fixed fixed data program PROM will be get available. And these data RAMs and programs RAMs are connected to CPU of these architectures or CPU of this processor through uh, this program and data bus or this peripheral bus particularly. Now you observe at this peripheral bus at that left hand side of this figure, you observe there is a multiplexer. What type of multiplexer it is? 2:1 multiplexer.
Yes,
Okay, that block is called as EMIF. That is called as external memory interface. So if you want to provide the external, I may give the external memory access to your DSP processor or DSP core, that they will be get gone through this multiplexer unit. So there are to be get 232 bits address and data bus has been supported over here. Is that clear?
yes, sir.
Okay. And now that CPU consists of program phase, instruction dispatch, instruction decode. Then there are two data path, data path 1, data path 2. Data path 1 consists of A register file, data path 2 consists of B register file. A register file consists of 16 register, that is A0 to A15. B register file consists of 16 register, that is B0 to B15. And there are the computational units, so our functional unit are 4 functional units associated with data path 1, and similar 4 functional unit associated with the data path 2, that is called as L1S1, M1D1, L2DS2, M2D2. Out of that, M1 and M2 are multiplier, rest of the blocks are ALU. Okay, then these are nothing but a peripheral and power management unit. Then DMA, it is called as direct uh, memory access controller. Either you can use for opted as a 4 channel or 16 channel, that is called as extended DMA. Then there is a host port, that is called as SPI port. We know the meaning of what is the functionality of these SPI ports. Then there are 232 bits timer. Then there are multi-channel buffer serial ports, 2 multi-channel buffer serial ports. What is the functionality of these 2 multi-channel serial buffer port, which are to be get used for work as a audio video. If you want to apply the audio signal or video signal, or it will be get as a codec. Okay.
Yes,
Then
sir.
power management block will be get used for reducing the power consumption. Okay, it will be get reducing the clocking strategy of your processor, and ultimately if you are going to get greater controls over the clocking strategy of your controller, then ultimately you are going to get reducing the power consumption, because DSP operation is a memory hogging applications. So any memory hogging application is demanding more power, and so that consuming more power. So there is a lot of uh, we can say improvement is there, so that we can reduce the power consumptions of your controller, so we can improve the life battery lives of your controller. Then there are 14 interrupts supported in your this DSP processor. One is reset and NMI, that is called a non-maskable interrupt. It is an highest priority interrupt. Then there are another interrupt is interrupt 4 to interrupt 15. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then this is the functional block, and we can say DSP core diagram. You observe in that, like your LPC2148, it also supporting your I2C, that is called as inter-integrated circuit block. Mini I2C block over here, I2C0, I2C1. Then there is a multi-channel, what we say, buffer serial port, two multi-channel buffer serial ports, then EMIF, and that GPIO is also there, general purpose input output ports. And your the CPU cores of this, this is the 6713 DSP processor block diagram. So here are to be get, there are two levels of memories. That is, one is called as L1P cache, and it is 4 kilobytes in size of total, and second is, and also L1D cache, that is called as, this is for program RAM, program cache, and this is called as data cache. And if if you are going to get, if this memory will be get missed, then that control will be get passed to another level, that is called as L2 level, that is also cache memory. Their size is 40 kilobytes. Okay, so is that clear? And that L2 cache is will going to get connected through enhanced EDMA controller. So it is to get 16 channel. Okay, then there is a power down logic, then clock generator, oscillator, PLL block, and so on. Might be this figure, once you understand the internal architecture, this figure will be get clear. Okay.
Sir, when do we have to draw this architecture as compared to the previous one?
Which one?
Sir, we have two of these now. There is one that you showed before and this one.
This is 6713 DSP processor, and earlier
Okay,
one
okay.
is the internal architecture diagram of your 62X. Okay.
Okay.
This is an it is if you are going to get observing the internal architectures of any kind of TMS processor in the series of 6X, so you are going to get observing these are the basic building blocks particularly. Okay. And
Yes,
in
sir.
this diagram, it is corresponding to 67 will be get specific to that 6713 DSP processor particularly. Okay. So 6713 is also a floating point processor. Okay. So that will be get considered regarding the memory management in it, particularly L1 and L2 particularly. Okay. And there is a some add-on you observe, there is a in that in previous internal architectures of 6X series, here there is a only two multi-channel buffer serial port, but here you are going to get observing that AS and that ASP0, ASP1 particularly. So more features has been added, particularly more blocks has been added. Now rest of the functionality are to be get remain same, and maybe that their working, what we say, operating frequency of that processor will be get different.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then there is 100% questions asked based upon this topic, similar to your previous topic. Draw and explain the internal architectures of your TMS 320C 6X DSP processor. So problem will be get asked upon our further discussion. That is, our question will be get asked like this: draw and explain the CPU and data path of your DSP processor. Straightforward questions, or draw and explain the data path. That's all particular. Okay. So again, it consists of what data path. CPU means computational unit. Okay. So in that computational unit, or it is 8 functional unit. L1, L2, S1, S2, M1, M2, D1, D2. Out of that, there are 2 are multipliers and remaining 6 are ALUs. There are 2 data paths for the CPU, 2 general purpose register file A and B, one for each data path. Each of these file contains 16 32-bit register A0 to A15 for file A and B0 to B15 for register file B. It can be used, what is the purpose of this register file? It can be used for data address pointer or conditions registers. So this register file support data ranging in size from pack 16-bit data through 40-bit fixed point. Then these are nothing but the instruction set architectures of your DSP processor. So it is similar, either it is 6.2 or 6.7. So after 6.2, you can use open up the face of this X. Similarly, after 6.7, you can there is a series like 4.8, 1.3, and so on. Particularly 6.7, 1.3, 6.7, 4.8. All these are new versions, updated versions of fixed point as well as floating point particularly. So nothing is remain from that instruction set architecture diagram. So powered on mode, timer, bootloader, host port, serial port, DMA, internal buses, EMIF, external memory, interport, synchronous and so on. That this we have already discussed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what instruction set architecture consists of? It addresses, what it addresses? It addresses 8 or 16 or 32-bit data plus 64-bit of data. If we are going to get talk in terms of C674X DSP processor, it supports load store RISC architectures with 2 data path. What are the 2 data path? Data path 1 and data path 2 particularly. Okay. So load store means it is to be get, you know that load store RISC architecture, that is we discuss as far as if you are going to get discussed regarding LPC 2148. Okay. So all the operations will be get done in terms of register only. So it is 16 32-bit register per data path. 48 instructions is applicable for your C62X processor, and 79 instructions has been supported in your C67X particularly. So it is the part of your instruction sets particularly. Okay. So how many instruction sets are offered by 62X? 48. And if you are going to do the programming with the help of 62X, and if you do the programming with the help of 67, so how many instructions will be get available? 70. Similarly, how many instructions is supported if you do the programming for your 62X? 48 instructions. 2 parallel data path with 32 bits RISC unit. So what are those? What that data paths consist of? What we say, computational unit, that are data units. It is what is the use of this data unit or data block? It is to be the data block will be get used for generations of address generation, or it is generating 32-bit address calculation, or we can say generation. So you can calculate with the help of modulo or linear addressing particularly. Okay. And there is a multiplier unit. It is a hardware, one of the hardware block will be get supposed to allow us to do the 216-bit multiplication, and we will be get responsible for generating 32-bit result. Then there is a logical unit. So it performing 40-bit arithmetic logical operation and compare operation. Shifter unit, 32-bit integer value and 40-bit shifter. And conditionally executed based on register A1 to A1 and 2 and B0 to 2, work with 216-bit half-word pack into 32 bits. Multiplication unit, that is performing unsigned, sign, pack, unpack multiplication. Arithmetic units, what are the arithmetic logic unit performing comparison and logical operation, saturation arithmetic and absolute value. Then performing the bit manipulation, set, gate, shift, rotate, and branching. Apart from that, it also performing addition and pack addition. Data unit performing load and store to memory, also performing addition and pointer arithmetic. So these are nothing but what can we can achieve with the help of this functional unit or functional block. Then yes, Bunty. Yes, Bunty. You have any doubt? You raise the hand. Yes. Okay, let it be. So we proceed further. Then we go detail regarding inside your register file particularly. So how many, what I told you, how many register file is there? Two register file A and register file B. And register file A are what are the content out of the register file you can apply to for processing to your computational unit. What are those? L1 S1, M1 D1, L2 S2, M2 D2. Okay, so you observe that in between that register file and your this unit, there is a blocks. Okay, hardware block. What are the name of that hardware block? This is called as multiplexer. Remember this point. Okay, so we can use that L1 block register file content you have to get loaded into your L1 block. Data will be get available in your register file will be get loaded into L1 for further processing to these two register, two multiplexer particularly. So input of this first multiplexer will be get set by register file A, and input of this uh, multiplexer will be get set by register file B, particular another input particularly, and one output will be get pointing to L1, correct? And so on. So you observe here, there are two multiplexer, two 2s2n multiplexer is applicable to L1 block. Then there is a only one multiplexer, 2s2n multiplexer for S1 block. Then there is a only one multiplexer block for M1 block. Same thing is applicable to your data part 2. But you observe that there is a no uh, uh, you cannot there is a no multiplexer for your data unit particularly. So data unit is for generation, not for it's for your computation, but it will be get responsible for generating the address generation particularly. Once you are going to get generating an address, at that particular address you are going to get able to store the result of whatever the data which is to be get manipulated, or whatever the data which is to get processed by this block particularly. So here is a two cross path. Okay, so cross path will be get offer. So instead of this connecting that 32-bit registers, you can generating the with the help of say instead of processing 16-bit or 32 bits, you can process up to 64-bit of uh, data with the by using this, by offering this cross path connection particularly. So this register file supports 32-bit data format, 40-bit data format, and 64-bit data format. So 64-bit and 40 bits data format can be get supported with the help of cross path particularly, or cross connections of register file A and register file B. How it will be get offered? There are two separate line for connection for that. That is called as 1x and 2x. That will be get discussed later on. Are you getting this slide? Okay.
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Okay. And now this is nothing but a register file example, how that processing has been done. So MPY is nothing but the multiplication instruction which is supported by your Texas Instrument DSP processor, C6X. MPY.M1, A1, A2, A3 particularly. So here MPY, after that MPY we put computational unit. What is those? Dot M1 means it will going to get performing. M1 is going to M1 will be get responsible to perform the multiplication processing, and where it will be get performing this multiplication processing two operand, that is A2 and A3, and result will be get ultimately stored into which which operand? A3. Sorry, A1 particular. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is nothing but the functional unit and operation performed. This slide will be represent. um, please read it afterwards. So what we have discussed, it is to be get summarized in this slide. Functional unit, fixed point operation, floating point operation. DP is called as double precision. SP is called as single precision particularly. So it will be get offering single precision arithmetic, double precision arithmetic, and so on particularly. If it is fixed point, 16 by 16 multiply operation perform. If it is floating point, 32 by 32 bit multiply operation can be get possible, and so on. So these are nothing but what do we say, the instruction sets applicable to your logical unit. Logical unit and then your multiplier unit, then what we say, yes for
Shifting.
shifter block, D for data block particularly. Okay. So data part, what it consists of data part, what we have to discuss so far, two general purpose register file A and B, 8 functional unit L1, L2, S1, S2, M1, M2, D1, D2 to load from memory data path LD1 and LD2. So it will be get loading 16-bit data from memory to register particularly. Okay. Load from memory to register and storing for your, it is similar to your load and store instruction. Is that clear?
Yes,
This
sir.
supporting in processor. So storing to memory from register. There are two data address path D1 and D2 register file data cross path. I already told you that is 1x and 2x. Okay. So it is very important. If anybody asks you, definitely ask you, not anybody, definitely ask you that functional block diagram of your data path. Time your mirror image of data path A.
Sir, your sound is not clear.
Okay. Now it's clear.
Hello.
Wi-Fi, please, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Okay. Okay. Now here you observe it. You concentrate on the right hand side of this figure. Your right hand side, you observe there are two register file and control register unit. बराबर? So ये control register file के बारे में books में read lot, but I don't found much more particular. Okay. If I found, I will definitely told you. Okay. But in terms of your, but it is to be get used for control register file. What is to be get? Why it is to be get given for? It will be get supervise the controlling operation. That is the main functionality of this control register. Register file. Here is you observe at that side there arrow.
Sir,
One arrow will get upper side. One.
sir, there is too much interference. We are not able to get you.
Hello.
And now it's fine.
It's fine now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then L1 block, S1 block, M1 block particularly.
Sir, can you explain it that you explained 15 seconds before again?
That LD1, so there are two arrow which is to be get pointed to register file A and register file B. First you concentrate on data path A. Huh? Data path A, data path B is exactly mirror image of your data path B, correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all these four computational blocks is applicable to whatever that block will give it applicable to data path B. But LD1 32 bit and LD1 is 32 bit LSB. So ये LD32 bit जा रहा है register में. Similarly LD1 32
Sir, voice is
5
not
pins.
audible.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, your